Strength in silence.
Strength in
Like a
silence.
Quaker sing a song.
Not today.
Y'all got the Nikki Square.
Nikki Square.
Two of us.
Just the two of us. I don't own the rights to that song.
Definitely got to give her this one. Right. Yep.
It's early.
Yeah, it is early, early Sunday. And we have a special guest.
We do. As you know, May is Mental Health Month. Okay. Also, there is a special day in the month of May, which is where we celebrate our moms and those that are mothers, right? So we kind of want to roll this episode into both of those, right? So you want to introduce our illustrious guest?
Introduce herself. Julise, I am a mother of four. I have an 18-year-old son in college, a 9-year-old little diva going on 35, and 4-year-old twins.
Man, now hold up. Roll that on back. This woman says she has an 18-year-old. Where?
Right.
She said she had four.
Four.
Where? Okay, goals. I have four too, but baby, we sure look different. Okay, y'all know I come to this. Sorry, we're being serious.
Okay, yes. But I am a mother. I love motherhood. And recently, my twins were diagnosed with autism. So that has taken me on a different path of motherhood, just really coming to terms with who I am as a mother in that space. And everything that I thought with the first two doesn't apply to what's happening. So it's definitely been challenging and exciting at the same time. So
New levels unlocked.
yeah,
Right.
it is. Sure. So how would you describe yourself as a mom in like 3 words? Fun. Discipline. I think I can carry the discipline very well, and just compassionate. And you have to be like with today, just even with mental health, like with these kids, they're challenged with so much these days. So balancing, keeping them up and happy and in their right, state of mind, mental space, and then trying to maintain your own at the same time. Right. It can be challenging. Right, give yourself grace. Oh yes, you gotta have compassion for them and for yourself at the same time.
And to the mental health aspect, how did that impact you when your babies got their diagnosis?
Well, to be honest, and this is y'all got time? Tell me time. So it's when I was pregnant, I got pregnant with them during COVID time. And that, as you know, was a very stressful time, just being able to go to work or not being able to go to work and trying to figure things out. But my husband at the time and I had also separated during that time. So the stress started, during that time. So fast forward to now, they're born at like 1.5. We started noticing just milestones that they weren't hitting. And they, referred us to what's called early steps, which is an early intervention program where they kind of monitor and try to get them, on track. So here I am as a mom. What did I do wrong? I have two very neurotypical kids that are excelling. Like my son, he graduated at 16 and left me for college. My daughter is super smart. Like they were talking at 2, they were doing all kinds of things at 2, whereas these two weren't doing that. So what did I do wrong this time to result in that? And it may or may not be, the stress that I was under or COVID. Like I got the COVID vaccine, which I hadn't obviously done before, but I think that those things combined with just the mental part of all the things that I was dealing with played a role in that. Yeah. Can't confirm or deny it, but that has definitely impacted me in this moment. So we always go back to that, asking ourselves, like, well, what did I do? That is something I do. Did I eat something wrong? Did I not do this? I do that? Yeah. We always go back to that.
That's true. Uh, the woman is the womb carrier and the child barrier, and so bear her. And so I think too that societally it's always the mother's fault. Like no matter what happens, oh, if boys are too sassy, it's the woman's fault because you baby them too much. Or if they're too violent, it's your fault because the man wasn't there, whatever the case is. It always falls back on us as the nurturer. Like we had to have done something wrong. And the fact of the matter is It could be all of those things or none of those things at all. It's usually things beyond our control that we may not even be able to pinpoint.
Right.
So that's something that we as women have to work through and to get over blaming ourselves
Right.
for everything. We
Right.
do. We carry that weight. And it can be devastating. It could, I'm sure, that weight has probably torn you down sometimes, right? So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. I wish we could socialize differently.
Yeah.
Because I think it begins in our households, and all of us were trained this way
Mm-hmm.
in this Western uh, civilization that we're in. It's your fault, no matter what. So we need to stop doing that and give ourselves some grace. Like, okay, I don't know why this happened, but it's just another thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's just another challenge. Not necessarily. I don't like even using obstacle.
Right.
Challenge, because when you say obstacle, that means it may be something insurmountable.
Right.
And I don't like to set my brain up that way to say, oh, this is too hard or something I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
A challenge means I can get through it, right? And it's wordplay, right? But just giving ourselves some grace. I don't know why I went to that, but
It was put on you.
it was dropped in my spirit this Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So like when you first noticed like the signs and stuff,
Mhm.
right? Did you like instantly start thinking like now, like your other two kids, you have to kind of like incorporate everybody. I have to start getting my household ready because my kids are showing signs of autism. I have to prepare my other kids also too. Because how old was your oldest when you had them?
He was 16. No, not 16. He graduated 16. So he was 13.
Oh,
13.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure he wanted to jump in and help.
And I'll say this: at first, I was in denial. I was in denial, so I got the diagnosis, and and not in denial. Whereas they're not autistic.
Right.
It's more of show me why you've
Right.
come to this, and then we can call it that when we get there.
Right.
Right now, we're in early intervention, and we're just doing maybe they're just delayed. Like some
Yeah.
things are delayed. It's not, and automatically that. So I was the parent that's challenging everything that you are throwing my way. Not saying no,
Right.
but prove
You have
it
to
to me.
Yeah.
Trust but
That's true.
verify.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of people go off with just what the doctors say and like,
Yes.
You can't.
yeah.
You can't do that.
The
And or the
practice.
opposite, like, no, the doctor's wrong and I'm not gonna deal with or accept that. And then
Right.
you create this delay
Mhm.
of intervention
And
and
resources.
right,
Yeah.
right. So I've just since the diagnosis and becoming, a member of different autism groups,
Right.
a lot of parents, say like, I commend you for just getting into everything, right away. I wish I would have done it sooner.
Right.
And then talking to them, I was in denial. I didn't accept it until later. So then we got the resources later, which is why they're older and we're still kind of dealing with this. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was the same way. Lucas, he has DMDD, and I didn't know anything about anything.
Okay.
When he's younger, now I look back and I go, "Oh, those were the signs right there that I ignored, or those are the signs right there that I thought, well, every kid has those, and every kid gets upset, and every kid has tantrums, but no, every kid doesn't and throw desk around."
Right.
So it's
Right.
like now that I know, like I could have jumped in earlier and started doing like the resources.
Right.
Great. But everybody tells me like when the teachers call me, they're like, "Oh, he did X, Y, and Z." Usually parents would be like, no,
No. Yeah.
that's my child. No, he did it. He did it. No, he did it. That sounds like so let me rectify when we get home. Instead of me saying, you're against my child and he didn't do this. No, he did it. We're gonna fix it. So,
Another challenge I think too is you hear so many conflicting, like with your immediate circle, your parents, and how they were. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that kid. They just bad, or they just this, and then you have, no, please don't. So you're trying to navigate all the things and figure out, okay, what is the right way? Am I making the right decision? Like what, but you figure it out.
and, our parents really didn't deal with it like the way we are. We can't go to our parents. I can't call my mom and ask her for advice because she doesn't know.
Mom will tell me I've got nothing. I have nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in that era, you have to understand too, um, the generation before them dealt with the Tuskegee experiment and things like that. So they were very distrusting of white coats, period.
Yeah.
As they should have been.
Right.
I mean, even today, we know that Black women are statistically more inclined to die during childbirth.
Absolutely.
You know, so we have a reason. However, trust but verify, right? We've got to do our own research. Okay, they tell you a thing. Now that means you're activated to go find out these things for yourself and to see
Right.
if it aligns. And it is difficult. Even, I mean, even if nothing's wrong with your children, there's so many different voices in your head about how you should raise them, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. My question actually is, once you did kind of not succumb, but once you did acquiesce to the fact that, okay, this is the diagnosis, I believe it. How did that impact the rest of your family? You had two already. And how did it impact you?
Um, it was hard. It was hard to come to terms with, but I think having the period of time when we were doing the research and we were trying to figure things out in early intervention kind of prepared me for it. So it wasn't a like it's autism and then I'm like, oh my God. I kind of knew putting all the pieces together over time that okay, this was it. But as far as my older two, my son, I mean I'm blessed to have kids that they want to understand what's going on. They want to help wherever they can. And I don't know if my 9-year-old fully gets it. Like we now kind of have the talk now that they go to an autism school now or they do this now. She's like, well, what is autism? What does it mean? And the kids shows today have episodes that are just bringing awareness to it. So that helps her.
Yes.
And then my older son, he's just a medical. He's going to school right now for medicinal biochemistry and molecular biology. That's a bit surgeon.
Yes.
So he's already like in the medical world and trying to understand things. But they are so compassionate, towards them, and they know like kids on the spectrum they know that people they can feel energy and when he went off to school to ASU they would just go and lay in his bed while he was gone and they remembered him but when he like he there as a as a parent I always or my biggest fear is like if something happens to me who's going to be able to take care of them right and I have no doubt in my mind that those two can pick it up like it's nothing and just do whatever they need to do. My daughter is so in tune to what their needs are, their bedtimes, what they eat, what they don't eat, how to put them to sleep. She's 9. So they are very, very much involved in just their day to day and how
I'm curious, your oldest son, was that his path from the beginning?
before this.
So
Yeah.
he knew what he wanted.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, 16. He left
Mhm.
me. That's the point. I'm saying he left me.
Okay.
16.
Arizona, yes.
But so as we were talking about earlier pathways and curriculums and looking at this is my choice, it kind of fits right because he already knew what he came here to do. And just so happened, now he has siblings that will benefit from his path of study. Man, listen, I love this. I love this. Honestly, at 52, I went for an autism, what do you call it? Review?
Like evaluation.
Yes, thank you. My brain. That's the mushroom coffee, I think. But I went for an evaluation myself this year. I happened to be at work and a girl was talking about how she relates to the world and I was like, "Oh, wow. That sounds like me." Because for me, when people are talking, I've always been like, "Oh, okay. Well, that happened to me and da 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 da." And people are like, "Ah, it's not always about you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I shut up. But I realized that's just how when she started saying that, I'm like, oh, it's somebody else that relates to the world that way too. That's how it makes sense for me. And so I went and had the evaluation. I actually have to go back for the comprehensive
Okay.
because I think there were like 5 different kind of areas that they check you on. Two of them, I checked positive for autism. Two of them, I was borderline, and one of them, it was a no. It was gifted. So the one thing that they said for me was, you sometimes can't tell unless you get into a comprehensive whether it's giftedness, trauma, or autism because they can actually mirror each other in some
Absolutely. And
aspects.
what people think about autism is that they're delayed, they don't know, they're behind, but they're so ahead.
Yes.
Process and things ahead.
Yes.
They're gifted.
Yes,
It's a
they are.
unique ability and they
Indeed.
are ahead. So the misconception again, just being aware and learning, about it. I mean, you find out so much stuff that you think, again, they're not slow, they're not behind. They process things faster than the typical person, and they need to, regulate that. And that's what parenting them really is, just helping them regulate everything that they are.
I think they're super beings, and we are the ones that are delayed. We're the ones that haven't caught up yet to the way to the rapid processing. And so because we haven't, we label it and we look at it in a different way. But just like you said, how they can feel energy and they would just go lay in his spot. Like they're very empathic. And I think a lot of times, like some autistic people, the reason they act out when there's too much noise or they're because they can feel it all. As a Heyoka empath, I get it. Like I can feel how you're feeling without you saying a word to me. And it sits on me, especially if it's heavy, right? And I walk away with it. You might walk away lighter just because I'm here in the room and I can, and it's, you can't turn it off and on. So I think the babies kind of, especially when they're younger, they're closer to wherever we come from. And I'm not going to go into that. They're closer to the source than we are. So they're more pure and there's less interference and they actually feel it that much more. So we have to protect and insulate them and do our due diligence to learn more about them to make it comfortable. But baby, I think they are the advanced us. We just need to catch up.
Right.
You know?
They are. When my oldest, they diagnosed him with ADHD, and I put him on medication at first, but I took him off, I think around fifth grade. And then after that, just watching him more, I'm like, you're just bored. Like, cause you know this stuff. Like you can do this stuff like this. So you're just bored. That's why you get up. That's why you run around. That's why you like, I don't want to do this. I'm bored. I've done this in the past.
Exactly.
Hey, you didn't need that medication.
And they kind of bind us. I can recall when I took pre-algebra in the eighth grade, right? And I always hated going to the front of the class. And they put the thing on the board and they make everybody go up there. And I looked at it, figured it out, wrote it down. And the teacher goes, "How did you do that? Show me your work." I couldn't show him the work. I went through a whole test, got all the answers right. You cheated. No, I didn't. Show me the work. I can't. I just looked at it and it made sense. Boom, that's a number. And then the way I worked it out, he was like, "Well, that's not going to work every time." Worked every time for me. But I got F's because I would get the right answer, but I didn't show the work. So even the way that we teach, which changes every generation, right? Because the math that you learned wasn't the math that I learned. Is it the math that they learned?
Exactly. That's our challenge.
It's not that I just took. I was GPT and what?
So the next generation can't help with the homework.
That's exactly right. And I feel bad because I feel like I'm confusing her because I'm doing it the way that I know.
Right. Like they taught me. You gotta carry this.
My grandson with some homework. I'm like, they did. Wait, what? And he was like in the third grade. I'm like, I can't do third grade. No, y'all not doing
Right.
this.
Right.
Changed it.
Yes.
So for your kids, like your twins, what is like your favorite way that they communicate with you? Like, is it like they have their own special way of communicating with you?
Yeah, I think because I'm a soft mom too. I mean, I can discipline when need be, but I'm soft when it comes to them. And my daughter, she speaks more. They're both considered nonverbal,
Okay.
but they've been going to ABA full time since December, and my daughter can say all three word sentences. Telling me what she wants, what she needs, and she'll always come and she'll say, I want this or I want that. Or if I appear stressed or, she'll say, what's wrong? And she'll just rub my head. What's wrong? And then my son, he's a lover boy, and he'll just come up and just look at me or hold my face and just, smile at me. And it's like,
Yeah.
just warms my heart. So they are amazing. They really are. And I'm super.
Okay, so now you got me all mushy on because I love the babies. So then my question is, how do you discipline? What does discipline look like?
House. No.
Yeah.
And I have to just repeat it. No, can't do that or take something away. My son, my daughter, S.I.S her name. She's more, she'll understand and say, okay, I can't do that. She may be upset for a moment, but she'll regulate and she'll be okay. Him, he has to, fall out on the floor and get his legs and, um, it would stress me out a little bit because I'm like, what am I doing? Or what can I do to stop this? Um, and I talk to the ABA, the RBTs and things, and I tell them, this is what's happening. What should I do? Just redirect. It's what they tell you, redirect. So I go to a family guidance meeting, and we're going over their progress and tantrums for him was a flat line, zero, doesn't happen. Like what?
You live in my
What child? I said, you are kidding me. Like, I was so stuck and surprised at the fact that, and she's like, your mom, you have catered to his needs from the very beginning and he knows exactly what's going to get you going.
Smart.
So I started like, you want to fall out, you want to kick your legs, you want to do whatever. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll go on about my
Yep.
business. And he'll come back and now he's happy with my face and he's doing whatever. And I'll ask, and they use what's called an AAC device, which is a communication like iPad where they can, if he can't, he can say some words, but he's not as talkative as Saya.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll go to the device and say, I want, could be the user, I want to go outside. I want to think about whatever. I have to go to the bathroom. And I'll get the device and I'll just give it to him and he'll go to it and then he's fine.
So he's been playing you.
The whole time.
That's my boy.
And babysit. I had to work one Saturday, and I had a girlfriend come in and babysit. And it's their godmother, and I'm very like particular about
I'm sure.
the spaces that they're in, the people because I've seen them in action and how they are when the environments are too crazy, too overwhelming. Um, Fine. I call her. It's peaceful, just like this. Oh, watching TV. They're outside on the porch playing. Like I was when I got home. Everything started over. I was sad, like legit. Like, why are you like to your everything?
Yes.
To me.
But that's all children.
Yeah, it is. But they the fact is that they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because my kids, I'd be like, they are hell. And I'm like, no, these are perfect. Your children are so now they would act up at home.
Mhm.
But when we were out, I'll never forget, I had to tell y'all this one real quick. Because about kids. So, back in the day, I didn't have no money, right? And we had to walk 3 blocks with our laundry to the laundromat. We remember those days, right? Everybody didn't have wash and dry now. And so it was my 3 girls. I had 3 girls, and one would have a doll, one would have her coloring book, one would have a book to read. And so they knew if they weren't helping me put the stuff in, like at this point in time, we were waiting because it was either wash and dry, whatever.
Right.
So they were all sitting in the little chairs. One was playing with the doll, one was reading a book, one was coloring. And this little Caucasian child was hauling tail all around. He's sliding all on the floor. And now he's trying to get my daughter's attention. And I had gone and checked, something. And the little boy slid. He ran and slid on the floor and landed up under the chair where they were. And all 3 of them looked up from what they were doing, looked down at him, looked at me, and went back to what they were doing. And so his mother came to grab him. She's like, "Oh my God, Timmy, whatever his name was, you're bothering these pretty young ladies." Da-da-da-da-da. She's like, "Oh my God, how do you get them to be? They're so well behaved. How do you do that?" And I looked at him. I said, "Beat them." My daughters laughed and went back to what they were doing because they were shocked and appalled. Like, what is wrong with him? At least they knew how to act outside of the house, right? That's how our kids are. They do it to us because they know we gonna bend, break, fold.
Yeah.
But as long as they know how to act outside the house, but that thing was funny. It literally looked like a cartoon session. They were like, "What is wrong with you?" Right, and they were real clean and prissy anyway. So I was like, yeah, that's creepy.
I think one thing I love seeing, like with you and your kids, is like how your son opens and closes doors.
Oh yes.
But it's so funny because it doesn't bother you at all. So he opens, you go close, and you're in big conversation. You just
Have
right,
that's cool.
right. You know, this beat, open, and he just opened it right back.
Yeah.
Close it right back.
Yeah. That's his thing right now. Like I have so he one thing that's I guess like a side effect of being on the spectrum sometimes is elopement. And they will escape and they gravitate towards water. And he used to do that. He would go run outside that door, get in the elevator, do that. Like
Oh my.
it was bad. I'm so surprised that I did not get hauled away in a police car because one of my neighbors brought him home. Like I fell asleep for a split second and I didn't need to. I was talking. Matter of fact, my son was at school. I was talking to him on the phone, and I fell asleep talking to him on the phone, and I realized it, and I was like, "It's too quiet." All right, so I'm like, where is Cincy? It's not the girls, it's him. Where is he? And I'm looking, I run to the back, I run back up here, and I'm like, it's too quiet. I go outside, and here comes my neighbor walking. Oh, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's just glad I was here. Like, that's so nice. So we exchanged numbers, and she's on my. If I need anything, she called. I'm going to the grocery store. Do you need anything? But like, it's definitely allowed me to make connections in the community. Like some people aren't fortunate. Like I have a neighbor downstairs who we won't speak negatively of. She has a problem with the stimming that they do. So sometimes they jump or just an excitement just to regulate. And she'll hit the ceiling or whatever, which I understand. And I tried to have a conversation and tell them, hey, it's not malicious. I'm doing everything I can to mitigate, the situation. Um, this is the case. And she was not very nice about it. She's like, if I hit the ceiling, that means it's too much, and walked away. So I'm like, okay, right. So everybody isn't like her. Like we have several friends in the community that just know our kids. I've been working with the front office about getting a sign that says an autism child lives here. That way, people are aware, and it's not okay. This kid is out here, and his mom is neglecting him. It's he may have a look. So he doesn't do it as much now. I have a lock on the door. You can see where I have to lock. It's human proof, adult proof sometimes. I think too, because you guys are always trying to figure out how to get out. Get out. Yeah, but he doesn't do it as much now. I think because all of my safety measures that I've taken. But it's challenging, and to make sure that people are aware, I think is what is going to make the community safer for these kids because it's not neglect. Like I'm moms of one are struggling with just parenthood in general. Then you add an autistic kid to the mix, and then you have that challenge, right? No, two. Right. Right. Just get into the place where I can kind of cruise a little bit, but it has definitely challenged me just as as a human because like what am I doing wrong? Like am I doing the right things? Am I because I don't want to um stop them from exploring and finding their way, but they have to also be safe. So like I think you were here one day and was it her or him who just got on the table and they right here oh yeah on the table and she just looking like gonna tell me get down or what like challenging. Yeah. But they have sometimes no sense of like danger. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you just being on top of everything and
it's so funny because she didn't look right at you like, okay, what you gonna say now? Yeah, what you can
So then what and you spoke about community. Yes. You spoke about making connections and making people aware. So outside of that, like how's the support been for you? Was it immediate? Did you have to kind of cultivate it?
I would say I've heard again being in these groups and hearing people's stories that it's been challenging for people to get into therapies. It's been waiting lists. It's been all this. I did not experience any of that. It has been a smooth sailing process with all of their resources there and OT, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and ABA. And there's been no hiccups or waits or anything with that. What I can say is daycare, so transitioning them. So they started off in a traditional daycare before the diagnosis. In their early steps, therapists would go to the school and you know work out, do her thing with them there. And worker, I'll call her worker at the daycare, called me and she's like, "Hey, I just wanted to know if you have an IEP or something." I don't know.
Daycare?
So it's another term for the IEP.
Gotcha.
For I don't
Gotcha.
know what it,
Like,
yeah. Like, first of all, why they had been here, they had been there a year or more at the time. And I let them know when I moved here and enrolled them. They have a developmental delay. That's all it was at the time. So take that into consideration as you put them in classes because I lived in Tampa at first before I moved here full time. And I drove to work here 2 days a week from Tampa.
oh, okay.
So they would come with me and go to daycare 2 days a week. So they didn't put them in like their standard class right away because it's not full time. We don't want to take up the full time space if they're going to be part time. So they were in like this multi class where they were some kids that were older, some that were their age, but that was just temporary until we could get here full time. But I told them what it was. A year passes. This person calls me and she's like, "Do you have this plan?" And I'm like, "I don't know who you are. Why you on my phone?
Right.
Why are you asking me about this? My kid is in a plan." And she's like, "Oh, well, they take their shoes off and they do this and it's a DCF, this and that." And I'm like, "Okay." Um, their therapist comes to the school twice a week. I will leave it to her to share with you whatever information she thinks is appropriate for you. And that's just kind of where I left it. And I'll be honest, like I've been dealing with divorce. I've been dealing with just transition, moving to a city where I have no family. So I'm just on go sometimes. And I think their diagnosis is what kind of stopped me and helped me because, and I'll tell you how I even got to this point. But I'm grateful, even though is a crazy situation, I'm grateful that it happened because that's what opened the door for me. But just advocacy and wanting to make people aware of what's going on. But she calls, she talks to the therapist, and she wants to have a meeting with me. Okay, cool. She has this meeting with me and she's like, "Well, this is what they're doing and we'll, set a plan and try to get them to not do that because, they can't have their shoes off." And I may be saying, but that's in a nutshell, that's what it was. So then she calls me and she wants to have another meeting with me. And she's like, does this day work? Okay, cool, fine. It's a phone conference. And I'm working. Um, she calls me and she's like, "I just want to call, give you a follow up on, how they've been doing, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "I don't know how to say this, but um, it's just not a good fit."
Oh,
And I said, "It's not." I said, "It's not a good fit." What? Wait, I said, "Right here?" Yeah, it's not a good fit. Um, she's like, "Yeah, so I'll give you a week, 2 weeks if you need it to find other care." Oh, so I chuckled. And I'm like, "Wait a minute. So let me clear. So because of their developmental delay, you are dismissing them from care." And she's like, "That's not what I said." I said, "Okay, well, enlighten me. Like, clear it up for me because that's what I got." She's like, "It's just not a good fit." I said, "Okay, well, I'm done talking to you. Who's your boss? And I need you to set up a meeting with me and that person,
right.
like, ASAP." And she's like, "Well, she's available." I said, "Go talk to your boss
Right.
and tell her that I need a meeting with her ASAP." I hung up the phone because I'm yeah,
Right.
raged right
Right.
now.
Right.
And then I thought about it, and then I'm like, "Okay, let me call her back." I said, "Did everything that we just talked about, I want it in writing when I pick them up."
Right.
Okay, cool. So I get there, and I told her I'm gonna disenroll them when I get there because my kids aren't gonna be anywhere that they don't want to be.
Mhm.
So I get there. It was a Friday. Before I left work, I found the CEO of the school on LinkedIn, and I said, "You need to call me yesterday because there's discrimination going on at this place." Regional manager calls me before I'm even on the road going to daycare. She's like, "What's going on?" Well, she called me. I missed the call. She sent an email. Get to the daycare. Um, I tell the people, I'm disenrolling, I'm unenrolling them, and I need that balance to be zero when I get out. But I can $7 a week for my kids to be in daycare.
Good fit.
I said $100 a week. So, and I had three there. My daughter, she would go to before and after school, but the twins, like, "You guys get, like, there's no help. There's no stipends or whatever. I'm paying for them to be here." So I go into the director, who I thought was the director, the person who enrolled them and helped me get them in, and she's been my go-to person. And she said to me before, when they kind of started going through all this stuff, "Let us be your village and know that you're here alone. We're your village." So I go into her office and I said, "What the hell happened to the village?"
Right. Yes, ma'am.
She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, this girl, whatever her name is, she called me and told me it's not a good fit and that they got to go. I got a week to find space. She's like, what? So then she walks out. I said, yeah. So she helps me to get their stuff. I go into the classroom and she's like, yeah, she's telling the teacher, ooh, Saya, she's better now that she talks, but when she wasn't verbal, she didn't like everybody. She likes to stay to herself. And there's a select few people, and her teacher, she loved her, loved this woman. So go in there, we tell her what's going on. She starts crying. So like, how the heck
Right, I'm confused.
did she come up with this determination and the teacher's input wasn't even considered because she has no idea what's going on. The person who involved my kids has no idea what's going on.
Was this lady want to fight right now?
See, so we do that, they get taken out or whatever, and I leave. The regional manager calls me. She's like, she's in Gainesville. She's like, I'll be there on Monday and Tuesday. Can we meet? So I tell her what's going on, and she's like, what? She's like, that's not how we do things. I said, I think so. Now, I'm a governance professional. I do corporate governance. I'm all about policy, procedures, all that. If you have the procedure and the process and what how we get here and y'all have checked all those boxes, I have no argument.
Exactly.
But come with it. I've researched discrimination cases. I got all my cases. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah,
So I'm like, the girl who was a sister
of course.
is sitting in there with the regional manager, the school director, who I had never met, which was crazy. And then they have a behavioral specialist I never even knew about. So a lot of balls were dropped.
Right.
A lot of balls were dropped. So going to this meeting and they are so apologetic. Like they're everybody but the sister is apologizing to the point where I'm like, I'm sick of them. Like, right. I know you're sorry. Okay. And they go on about it. It was a mistake. They have a program, this behavior specialist. We have steps that we take before we even get there. There's a system that we can implement right now. Please bring it back. We'll give you 2 weeks on us, bring them back. And then we'll meet every week just to go over their progress and make sure that we're doing everything. So the decision was not reflective of the organization because they obviously have a process in place that they have to follow. This one, she sat in the meeting like this the whole time. Didn't apologize one time. When we got out of it, I thought, okay, maybe she's embarrassed. Well, before when everybody dismissed, she went out and I kept the regional manager and I said, "Did you peep?" She's like, I'm on top." I said, "Okay, that's all I need to know." She is not to be around my kids at all. At all. Because they were
been there.
they were back. They were supporting her. She's new in the role. She was a director. She's a preschool director. So you've never even introduced yourself to me as a director. Why don't I know who you are? And I'll be honest, I thought you were just a regular detail worker, which is why I was like, why are you on my phone asking me? She don't even have the authority to ask me these questions. But she was a preschool director and she never made any type of communication with me. Even after that meeting, she never said to me and said a thing to me. She avoided me. And I expressed to them and I made sure that I had everything in writing. Um, and I'm just not comfortable with her. And they were trying to, teach her whatever. I say maybe 3 weeks after that, we got the letter that she was no longer with the organization. I said, well, it's good because she's a liability. Yeah. So, but in that moment, I'm like, how many other parents did she do that to? Didn't know, who didn't have the cojones to push back and challenge it, and they're just out here trying to find other care for their kid. Yeah, I need a kid advocate, and that was the moment where I'm like, okay, I need to be on top of this because this is not okay.
So when you ask yourself why me,
Right.
it was supposed to.
Yes. Yes.
If not you, then who else?
Right.
Because you're strong enough to bear it and to do the right thing and create a pathway for others behind you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we
Yeah, I know, right? I was all in.
on the fight. All right. Today.
We don't know.
But it's so good, like when we're going through things like that, we're our maddest. We're like, why are we going through this? But then after, it's like now you have those, like a lot of things that you even just said today, I didn't know about. Like the sign with the autism kids, or like even like the time I came here and I saw the tablet, I was like, oh, that's cool. I need that sometimes when I can't say what I want to communicate what I feel.
Yeah.
It's like things people they don't know. They don't know. And it's so much technology at our hands that we even like fail to even go to even look it up. And like to open up a book and just read about like the different things that we do. So it's so good that they have you to advocate because that our kids need that.
They too. It's multifaceted too. Even if they were regular kids, they still need us to advocate. And I feel like, as no disrespect to any other woman, but as Black women, we have had to bear the burden of advocating for everyone. Everyone. We fought for our men, we fight for our children, we fight for our other sisters, whether they're black, white, purple, green with blue polka dots. We fight for everybody. But then when it comes time to stand up for us, like you said, she was a sister. So all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So even though we even have to learn how to advocate for each other, because I think there's so much psychological conditioning to keep us at enmity with each other, we really have to push past that conditioning to realize the sisterhood, because she may not have even seen you as a sister. She may not have even identified. Like I've called some folks because this is what I am. Eh, And I've called, hey sis, how are you? We the same color, right? But she did not identify with that at all. And it's like, oh, okay. So even within and amongst ourselves, we have to learn that we all in this together, and we all have to support each other. And it is a work in progress. I've even been in other countries and got excited because I saw somebody that looked like me and was like, "Hey, how you doing? Good morning." And silence. And it used to be like, "What if you did?" Now I'm like, "Oh, that's a symptom of the conditioning, right? You don't even want the sameness because you need an adjacency to what you think is the hierarchy or what have you." Anywho, so let's bring that back then, because I'd like to know, okay, you have this genius, you have another very supportive and intuitive child assisting you through this. You guys are working through this together, and you have these amazingly, beautifully advanced children, twins. God bless your soul. How has it changed you as a person, A? And what did it bring out in you that you didn't know you had? Um, as a person, just being more accepting, and I feel like when I see other children that have whatever their disability is, like it excites me, and I just I want to, if I can do anything to just highlight them, or whatever. I think that I'm just more aware of others in that situation, and I feel the community, and I want to be a part of the community, and I want to help the community. So as a person, that has definitely, it's definitely made me want to be more involved in that regard. But how it's changed me just entirely. I told you I'm paralegal by default. I've been a paralegal for 20 years. Um, I now am out of work. I want a medical leave of absence because my kids' schedules are crazy. Mondays are therapy heavy, and then they do other therapies, throughout the week. And it's it's opened up, I think, just my eyes to what is needed. I can't be the only parent that's in a position where I have to choose work or my kids. Right. Where is the support if there's any, and if there isn't, what can I do to do that? So I do have a notary business that I run, some mobile notary business, where we generally do like real estate closings, commercial closings, things like that. But we get the work individually as from signing services, and signing services usually connect with title companies, and they get the job, like they're the third party person. They connect title to the notary. So I'm like, maybe I should pivot and turn this notary business into a signing service and hire, other parents, special needs parents who's had to transition out of their corporate careers or whatever, to a career that they are in control of their time, they're in control of how much, how little, what they're doing. And it's a small impact, but it's something that can help, right? So in doing that, I'm also a licensed life insurance agent. And as a paralegal, I've worked in estate planning. So how are we? Because the biggest fear that I have as a parent is, if I'm not here, who is
who can handle it.
Right.
Who I know they can't, mirror me, but
Yes.
who has the capacity to do that in other things. If I become incapacitated, like who's in control? So it like we as a culture, I don't think that we think about estate plan. We sometimes don't even think about life insurance. And God, if I were to pass, and it's because we don't want to think about death or the worst case scenario. But it's so many benefits to it, while you're living that people don't know. But I've taken that in my estate planning experience and have created, and I'm still in the process of doing it, but created a legacy planning boutique firm to help special needs parents plan for special needs, just long term for their special needs children. And the notary business, because estate planning documents have to be notarized, will serve as a signing service to connect the notaries that we're hiring over here to execute the documents for the special needs parents over here. So it's a full ecosystem
Yeah.
of resources for them. But it's a small, like I said, a small impact. But we need other parents to advocate and highlight things that maybe the parents in the midst of all the craziness aren't thinking about. And I mean, I'm still in the crazy, but my brain just does crazy things. Um, but I feel like I found my true purpose.
Okay.
I found my
Because I was going to ask that you actually kind of segued into it beautifully, as to how you're supporting yourself, because I know that's an adjustment. Obviously, it's an impact, but even in the midst of it, you come up with a plan, not just for you, but for community. And I think that's the beautiful part of it, because you're not just looking out for yourself, you're looking out for other people that are like you and find yourselves in those situations.
Yeah. So for the mental health part of it, like when you take your cape off,
Mm. Look,
Nope.
like take it off. What does self care bring you? Like what do you do to you gotta ground yourself? Like what do you do?
If I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find that space. Like we're just now getting to a place where I can exhale and, just be okay in the moment. But I can say that I do committed to therapy. I go to therapy every week like clockwork, and that has done tremendous things for me, um, just personally and as a parent, right? And how I can, not necessarily ignore or put the things that I'm struggling with to the back burner, but how I can navigate that and parenting, being the best parent that I can be with my kids at the same time. So what the one self-care method that I'm committed to is definitely therapy. When I get a break, like now, it's just very often. I sleep. I do go and get a massage. So massages, I think are important. I don't get them very often, but I definitely do that. And then everybody loves a shopping day here and there. So, but yeah, I just and outside of just the things for myself, I think just being around other people, women, just to kind of encourage and motivate. And like I'm super excited about this interview in the past, and I couldn't wait until we did it. But just to be able to connect with other people and share experiences and just feel that support.
You're definitely for the community. That's why I'm like, let me ask this. But everything you've said thus far has been about everybody, right? I'm like, what do you do for you?
Right.
Let me say I feel like it's my purpose. Like
Yeah.
I feel like even prior to this, and it's back to just what you said. It was a part of the plan from the beginning. I I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I became a mother for the first time with my son because I was young. I was 19, turned 20, and we would get these magazines, the parenting magazine.
Yes.
Right. Nobody looked like me. And they definitely weren't 19. And I was not going to commit to, statistically the being on government assistance and doing that. Like I knew I wanted to be successful. This baby wasn't going to stop me from, following my dreams and doing what I wanted to do. So how can I do that, still be successful? Because I didn't know. I'm 19, right?
Right.
How can I do that? And still kind of encourage other people. Like I don't know, like other people, helping other people is just in me. But how can I do that? And I started this little small magazine that highlighted young parents and how they were making, how they were becoming successful just in their struggle as a young parent. It didn't go anywhere. But that's what started. That's what started me on my journey, and I feel like this. I live for this. Like I absolutely live for it, and I'm grateful that because we question God. I know we shouldn't, but I've been asking him for just clarity. Like he's giving me all these things right now. Apparently, I'm a Notre Dame, insurance agent, all these things. And when you talk to other people who don't understand, you're doing too much. What do they say? A something jack of all trades is a master of none. But I master these things, So that's not fine. Yes. So there was self doubt, right? Because the support wasn't there. But just in asking God for clarity on what He wanted me to do with all that He's allowed me to have, like every day it gets clearer and clearer. Like I didn't know 2 years ago that this would be the path that I would be on, that I would be advocating for special needs. Like I had no idea, no idea. So you doing it so well.
Yes. Yes, and taking it all in stride. So I'm just curious, how long? Because what is the time frame? How long ago were they diagnosed?
September of 25.
Wait a minute now. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. We're talking about 8 months, and this woman is connecting. She's creating. She listen. So if this is not um, confirmation that you are doing what you're supposed to do, I don't know what you need. Maybe 8 months. Some folks would still be like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do?
And don't get me wrong, I definitely have my moments where, but yeah, I just,
Yeah.
it's,
And it's in you to take care of everyone else. So that nurturing and I I just want to say hats off to you. I am, especially doing it by yourself. It's difficult enough to manage with two parents, right? And in an environment where your family is there and what have you, but to move to an area where you have no one and then establish yourself and then begin to web out and establish things for other people like you, that is very much so commendable, right? So I think you need to, when it gets heavy, and sometimes it will, and you're like, how am I going to do? I think you just need to pause and look back. Hindsight is always 2020, but when you're on the cliff, right, and you're looking back from where you came from, I think that'll give you that perspective of, mm, wait a minute, what do you mean how am I going to do this? I'm here.
right.
And 8 months ago, I was here. Right. So, uh, I'm just, I'm full. You've inspired me, and I don't even have any kids now. I do. My baby's 32. But no, just I'm sitting here, and within myself, I'm like, girl, what are you doing sitting on some of this stuff, right? Because to your point, people that were born knowing that one thing that they want to do, they don't understand when you say, well, wait a minute, I can do anything you show me how to. And then once I learn it, I'm going to make it better. So how do I hone in? That was my question for a long time. And people would tell me, oh, well, just pick one of those things and do that. I'm like, but that doesn't feel good. Right. When I launched my businesses a couple of years, they're like, oh, why are you doing all that? Just do one. And I'm like, but that conversation with God to say, listen, you gave me all of this, these ideas, these thoughts, these plans, help me bring it to fruition. That which will encourage others and enhance the kingdom and whatever else, whatever I'm put here to do, I'm just going to let go. And that was one thing that I realized I had to let go of whatever outcome I had here.
Yeah.
And just say, put the right people across my path. Because look what I got right here. Like, literally, I asked, just, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just know I can do these things. I need you to put the right people in my life to bring those things out of me. And I think if we continue from that point of humility and looking for that guidance and direction and be open to the fact that it may not look like whatever you're planning.
Right.
You know, back in the day, they used to say, write your plans in pencil.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because God gonna ink in some other
Right.
stuff.
Right.
I can say for myself, I find myself in on a path, like I know I've always wanted to help people, but sometimes some of the things that are thrown my way or that I just happen into for us and along this path, I'm like, I would have never thought about that, or I didn't think about, because when you're open and you ask for that divine intervention, like I know you got it. You see the end of this story, right? You went to this page and that page. And so I think if we can rest and be comfortable in being open like that and trusting that the right people will come to you when you need them to, and the support that you need is you just take that step, and you might not see anything, but you take that step and boom,
Yep.
there's land for you.
Listen.
Boom. You know what I mean?
And
then
it
you just
happens
fall in place
just like that. Yeah.
until you wake up and 8 months later, you go from confusion and uncertainty to a plan and building for the community. Bless you. Bless you.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Right.
It was amazing. What's in your face?
I'm blessed.
Amazing. But our podcast is Strength and Silence.
Yeah.
It's for the strong friends, for people, that don't have the community or don't know where to look for, don't know the resources. So for anybody who is, kind of maybe going through it or, just maybe finding out about their kids, or developmental issues like, at a young age, you don't even know where to start.
Right.
Is there anything that you can give, like any gems, anything that you can say, like, just for them?
Definitely do your own research. You're going to hear so much, even in the community, that may not look exactly like your story. Don't necessarily run with that. You have some parents that believe that, IEPs in public school are great and they don't believe in the ABA thing. And then you have other parents that are like, I can't do public school IEPs. ABA has worked best. So just know that not one story um, is the same in every situation isn't going to apply to yours. Do your research and be open to creating that plan that pertains to your kid, because it's not going to look like that kid or that kid.
Right.
And I think sometimes we get so caught up in these communities because it's other parents like us that we have to fall in one or two of the baskets when you have your own basket that applies to your kid because they're so different. So don't lean in on others so much. Take the time to really figure out what pertains to your kid specifically and apply what you need to that situation, because it's no like parenting, there's no book for it, right? There's people can give you advice and all that.
Right.
At the end of the day, your experience is your experience, and I think the
It
same
might not fit at any table, then make your own table.
make your own
That's
table.
right.
Make your own table, and don't be afraid to do
Right.
it.
Before we close out, you've used the term a lot, and I know it's comes readily to you because you're in this and you understand. What is ABA for those of us or our viewers that might not understand what
It's
that is?
applied behavioral analysis. So they basically work with the behavioral, I'd say issues, that the behavioral challenges that these kids are faced with, and we help them navigate it. Like I said, my kids have been in ABA since December, and they were not talking at all when they started ABA. My daughter can walk in, hi, I want this. Or, how you doing? Or she can have a conversation with you. She's still considered nonverbal, but she wasn't doing that before.
Mhm.
My son, he's nonverbal. He uses the AAC. They weren't using AAC devices before December. He's in potty trained by now. He knows when he has to go, and he'll have to go to the bathroom on this. So again, my experience may not be that of the next person's, but just do your research and try things out. What may work for you, now, or and something may not work, 2 months from now. You never know. But try everything. Don't be closed minded to anything. Be open, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, it's okay to go to the next thing.
Be fluid and know that it might change. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I'm blessed for meeting you. For sure. Thank you for sitting with us. Thank you. Um, she's our first for this month, and I think this is a very good way to start. To represent for mothers, period, and how you're taking care of your mental health and the mental health of your children. Think you're raising some scholars, and we need that in the community. So thank you for sharing with us today.
It was a pleasure.
Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe,
Share.
share,
Yes.
give it to somebody.
Yes, if you need some assistance, please do your research and whether it's children or adults, because there is, for me, I went through Prosper Health, so you can try and get an assessment. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Okay.
Reach out to Prosper Health, and there's other places. So please don't ignore it, right? There is help. Don't suffer through it. There is help out here for us all. Thank you for joining us on another Sunday.
And I will leave you guys with this. If you do have questions and just want some insight, you can find me at the hyphenate mama on both Facebook and Instagram.
And
Right.
I know to read life insurance.
Yeah.
Reach out.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
I always want to crawl on the floor and to turn it off like that.